Right now at 5, the Coffeyville Municipal Airport hosts a high-flying look at aviation history.
And it's going to be hot and breezy today across the area. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, court costs could soon help support the salaries of law enforcement personnel in Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
Chris Warner, it's now Thursday, getting a little closer to the weekend and a little further into October and a little further away from average with our temperatures out there as well. We're looking to be about 10 to 15 degrees above normal today.
Ugh.
On top of that,
Ridiculous.
It's going to be breezy. I'm telling you, it's a little bit on the wild side.
Yeah.
And the worst part is there's still no rain on the horizon, and we need it so badly. If we don't get some soon, there are going to be bigger problems in the area. Let's start with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, and you can see we're looking pretty good. The skies are clear, and temperatures are warmer this morning as well. Our camera 7th and Range Line also looking good this morning. We'll head over to the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line, also looking pretty good. Looking back to the south, and we'll take one more stop for you to the KDOT camera at US 69 East 520th Avenue south of Pittsburgh, looking fairly good as well. Future track, it's pretty much copy and paste from yesterday. The only difference is the wind arrows are moving faster and the temperatures are going to be a bit warmer out there. We'll have those gusty southwest winds pushing 25, maybe 30 miles an hour as we head through the afternoon. And similar to what we saw on Tuesday, those winds will begin to calm down by late afternoon and early evening. Here we are. Remember where we were yesterday? Nowhere near that today. 64 in Joplin, 59 over in Pittsburgh, and temperatures around the region, some upper 50s, and we've got some low to mid 60s, even a couple of upper 60s out there. So yesterday we were 20 degrees cooler than where we were the day prior. This morning we're back to being about 20 degrees warmer than where we were the day prior. Kids getting on the bus this morning, sunny, 59, south winds around 5 to 10, but it won't take long for those winds to start to pick up, and we'll start gusting again out of the southwest upwards of 25. And look at that temperature when the kids get back home, upper 80s out there, getting close to 90, and that's where our highs are headed. Sunny, breezy, again, upper 80s and low 90s out there, and that puts us about 10 to 15 degrees above normal. We'll have another look at your forecast and talk about this heat and how long it lasts here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a felony traffic stop in Joplin yesterday turns into a car crash. Authorities initiated this stop around 11:30 yesterday morning, and police say the driver then took off during the stop. The chase ended at 20th and Connecticut with a T-bone crash involving another vehicle. The driver in the other vehicle was not injured. The JPD tells KOAM Shannon Becker 2 people wanted on felony warrants were transported under police guard to an area hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. You can head over to KOAMnewsnow.com for more details as they become available. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Missouri voters will soon decide the future of law enforcement funding in the state. Amendment 6 asks whether the Missouri Constitution should allow the use of court costs and fees to support the salaries and benefits of certain law enforcement personnel. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on what voters need to know about what's on their November ballot.
A yes vote on Missouri Amendment 6 would amend the state constitution to allow court costs and fees to support benefits for current and former sheriffs, prosecutors, and circuit attorneys. A court fee was used for this until the Missouri Supreme Court ruled in 2021 this practice could violate the right to court access. This amendment would nullify that decision. Missouri State Senator Rusty Black filed the initial bill that has become Amendment 6. In a column on the Senate website, Black says the amendment would, quote, ensure a robust retirement fund for sheriffs as they approach the end of their careers. But the executive director of the National Police Accountability Project says the amendment could create problems.
it is problematic for court fees to be a source of revenue for law enforcement officers, because, that does create, this kind of incentive that we've seen to police for profit, to prosecute for profit. If there is this kind of connection between how many cases you have and, what your revenue is going to be for a particular year.
The Missouri Secretary of State's office says if passed, this measure will have no impact on taxes. Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
You can learn more about what you'll be voting for on this November on our website, KOAMnews.com/elections. Well, MoDOT and AAA Missouri are asking teen drivers to show me your score. It's a competition intended to promote and reward teen safe driving in Missouri, with up to $15,000 in prizes up for grabs for schools, teens, and faculty. Now, the challenge also highlights Missouri's recently enacted sit-ins meaning law, which prohibits the handheld use of an electronic device for all drivers. You can learn more about the Show Me Your Score challenge on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, the commemorative Air Force Rise and Above traveling air exhibit makes a special stop in Coffeyville starting today. The event will showcase the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen and Women Air Force Service pilots and highlight their contributions to aviation. The tourism guide says he'd love for everyone to come to even learn and enjoy.
The exhibit itself will actually have a semi-truck that we just watched pull in. It will have different artifacts, and it'll have a movie playing, and then we'll actually have an airplane that will fly in. And so it'll be a really big event here at the Coffeyville Municipal Airport. We're excited for it, and we're just so excited to show people Coffeyville.
The event runs today through Sunday. Well, the team here at KOAM wants to show their appreciation for everything first responders do for the community. Today from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. we are throwing an appreciation lunch for area first responders and medical personnel. We've already got the grill set for this free lunch event, which is just a small token of our appreciation for everything you do. Interested first responders and medical personnel can head out here to the KOAM studio for this free lunch event and a sincere thank you. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Royals try to finish off a sweep of the Orioles. We'll have those details. Plus, eclipse watchers got to take in the ring of fire over Easter Island. And we have a hot and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Playoffs come quickly for Oklahoma high school softball. We're just starting the month of October, but yesterday afternoon, Miami hosts a Class 4A regional tournament. The Lady War Dogs are the top seed after an 18-2 regular season. First game of the tournament between Oologah and Muldrew. Not very competitive. The Mustangs take it 11-1 in 6 innings. That means they play directly afterwards in Game 2 against the Lady War Dogs. In Game 2 of the regional tournament, Miami on its home field, but is the away team on the scoreboard. Top of the first, Mizzou commit Sydney Forrester steals third base without needing to slide. She'd later score on a hit by a pitch. Later in the frame, bases loaded, and Bailey McCarthy hits a line drive over the third baseman's head into left field. 2-run score. Lady War Dogs lead 3-0. Bottom of the inning, Danae Green pitching for Miami. Ground ball to Forrester at short. She flips the second for the fielder's choice and nearly turns the double play. Next inning, runner on third, Hayden Pilkington lays down a bunt and places it perfectly. Run will score, and she's safe at first. Lady War Dogs run away with it. Final score 11-1 after just 5 innings. Miami needs one more win today to earn a regional championship. Over to pro football, Chris Jones has been named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. This comes after he caused havoc in Sunday's 17-10 victory over the Chargers in Los Angeles. Jones finished that contest with 2 sacks, 4 tackles, and 6 quarterback pressures. Most importantly, he's helped lead the Chiefs to a 4-0 start. They're in action again this Monday, taking on the Saints. Now to Major League Baseball, the Royals won their first postseason game in 9 years Tuesday, 1-0 over the Orioles. That sets up yesterday afternoon's matchup. Kansas City wins, moves on to the ALDS. Royals at Orioles, game 2, first inning, no score. Vinny Pasquantino drives this pitch into right field for a single. 1 run scores. Royals lead 1-0. Third inning, same score. Roman Urias ropes this pitch deep. MJ Melendez tracks it down and makes the great catch at the warning track. Orioles still yet to score a run this series. Seth Lugo loves it. Fifth inning, Cedric Mullins is going to crush the Seth Lugo pitch for a solo home run. There's Baltimore's first run, so we're tied at 1. So we go to the 6th inning. We got 2 out, 2 on. Bobby Witt Jr. going to ground this one up the middle and beats the throw to first for a single. One run scores. Royals lead 2-1. 9th inning, same score, 2 outs. Lucas Urseg gets Gunnar Henderson swinging, and that will end the game. Royals win 2-1. They beat the Orioles in Baltimore on back-to-back days and will face the New York Yankees in the ALDS. Well, still to come, a new study suggests that nearly 1/3 of adults in the U.S. may have one of 2 forms of iron deficiency. Plus, got another check of that forecast and the hot weather when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 516 on this Thursday morning, and we are starting with the future track, which, like it's been the last several days, there's really not a lot to show. The only key differences today is the wind arrows are moving a little faster, temperatures are going to be a little higher. So already by noon, pushing into the mid-80s out there. We're looking at those highs creeping up, putting us 10 to 15 degrees above normal, and we'll have those gusty southwest winds to contend with. Now the winds will ease up late afternoon, early evening out there. We'll go into our Friday. It'll be another very mild start for us because keep in mind our average lows, low 50s, average high right about the mid-70s. And by tomorrow, it's a little slower of a warm-up, but nonetheless, still pushing temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal as we head into the afternoon. And if you guessed that it was going to be similar on Saturday, you would be correct. We are looking at another above normal day, not as warm as we're going to be today and tomorrow. Initially, it will be a little later before it starts to warm up out there, but boy, just not October at all. The only October day we had was October the 1st, and after that, it's just been more like late August type temperatures out there. 64 in Joplin right now. The air's still very dry, so do keep that in mind. Please, no outdoor burning or anything like that. We just want to keep people safe, keep your property safe as well. And temperatures this morning, we have some mid to upper 50s, and then we've got some low mid 60s, and got upper 60s there in Yates Center, sitting at 67. So, you remember yesterday, these were minus signs, and these colors were a lot more blue because we were 20 degrees cooler. And as mentioned yesterday, as promised, really, unfortunately, we are upwards of 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago out there. All right, so winds will start picking up. It's going to be breezy. We'll warm up again rather quickly. Sunshine and those southwest winds kicking in, push us to 80 by 11 o'clock. And that's ahead of our highs today. Again, upper 80s, low 90s out there. And those southwest winds again gusting about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And as we head into tonight, we're going to be mild once again. Clear skies continue. Winds will begin to ease up. We're in the low 70s by 10 and back into the low 60s and some upper 50s out there as well as we head into tonight. Then we head down the road. Not much change. I noticed last night Doug had specifically put "we need rain soon" across the extended forecast, and he's absolutely not wrong. Unfortunately, the next 10 days, nothing out there. Upper 80s, low 90s tomorrow, same on Saturday. A little cooler Sunday. mid-80s, still above normal by about 10 to 12 degrees. Now Monday, we're a little closer to normal. We're talking upper 80s, and again, we should, or my goodness, upper 70s. We should be mid-70s, so we're only a couple of degrees off. But it is a brief cool down as we head toward the second half of next week. Temperatures climbing right back up into the upper 80s and some low 90s. And as you can see, unfortunately, still no rain in this forecast. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to be back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is alerting the public to the dangers of buying fake prescription medications online. On Wednesday, the CDC warned public health officials about the possible risk for overdose among people who purchase knockoff prescription meds from online pharmacies. The agency says nearly 95% of websites that offer counterfeit meds are operating illegally. These drugs often contain fentanyl, which is the leading cause of drug overdoses in the U.S. The CDC is urging people to keep an eye out for online pharmacies that advertise deep discounts, operate without a license, and do not require a doctor's prescription. Well, new data shows a record number of kindergartners didn't receive at least one state-mandated vaccine. According to the CDC, about 3.3% of kindergartners had an exemption for at least one required vaccine during the last school year. That's up from 3% from the previous year, and the vast majority were non-medical exemptions. That means roughly 127,000 kindergartners didn't receive at least one state-mandated vaccine. The CDC data also shows that roughly 93% of kindergartners received the measles vaccine. A recent study suggests that nearly a third of American adults may have an iron deficiency. The researchers studied data from over 8,000 adults in the country. Now, they found roughly 14% had absolute iron deficiency. That's when there is a severe reduction or even complete absence of the body's iron stores. An additional estimated 15% had functional iron deficiency, and that's when there are adequate iron stores, but the body is struggling to use it. Now, iron deficiency has been tied to restless leg syndrome, fatigue, anemia, hair loss, and heart failure. It can be prevented or treated by using iron supplements and eating iron-rich foods. What's the leading cause of hospitalizations for infants and a major risk for older children too? RSV can be dangerous, even life-threatening for those who are most vulnerable. And the younger the child, the higher the risk. Mandy Gaither has more on RSV and how to protect your children this virus season.
It doesn't typically peak until winter, but respiratory virus season has started in the U.S.
I'm already starting to see an uptick in RSV cases.
Immunologist Dr. Juanita Mora says some of the children who are most vulnerable to severe RSV are children with pre-existing health conditions and young infants.
Because of immature lungs, and they're not able to get rid of all that phlegm or blow their noses.
Up to 80,000 children younger than 5 are estimated to be sent to the hospital every year for RSV, according to the CDC. Symptoms include a runny nose, congestion, decreased appetite, coughing, sneezing, fever, and wheezing.
We're hoping that by protecting the babies, we'll actually be able to see a milder season for RSV for the young ones especially.
Mora says the best protection is through RSV vaccination. It's recommended for all pregnant people between 32 and 36 weeks of pregnancy. An RSV antibody is also advised for all infants whose mother did not receive the RSV vaccine during pregnancy, and some children ages 8 through 19 months at increased risk for severe illness.
And we found it to be 77% effective in decreasing emergency department visits in babies, 80% effective in preventing overall symptoms of severe RSV, and 98% effective in decreasing hospitalization in these babies.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The RSV vaccine is also recommended for adults between the ages of 60 and 74 who are at increased risk of severe RSV, and it's recommended for everyone 75 and older. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got a much milder start across the area for us this morning and a hotter day out there with some gusty winds as well. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, Parsons, Kansas shows its family support with a family-friendly workplace summit.
And we've got a mild start out there. It's going to be hot, sunny, and breezy today. Look at that forecast, get you out the doors. Coming up.
Plus, Freeman Health System in Joplin demonstrated a modular hospital in the event of a disaster.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Thursday, October the 3rd. Getting a little further along in there.
Right.
Seems
Yeah,
the
doesn't
further.
feel like it,
Yeah,
but,
exactly. That's what I was going to say. The further we get into October, the less like October it begins to feel for some reason. We're kind of running backwards here on
Just a bit.
the weather clock, but at least again, if there's things you need to get done that maybe you put off during the summer when it was too hot, temperatures staying warm enough that you can get a few more things done maybe before it does start to get cold outside, because we know it'll eventually happen. It has to. And then it'll be
I'm
too
going to be
cold.
wishing it was 90 degrees in October.
That's how it'll go. This morning, though, already a mild start out there. Let's start with our camera downtown Pittsburgh. You can see, well, of course, it's dark outside, but I assure you the skies are quite clear out there. Same from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Clear skies and warm temperatures for this time of year to get the day started. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, looking fairly good as well this morning. A little empty on the roadways, but of course that'll begin to change here in the next hour or so. And the KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue, also looking pretty good this morning as well. All right, future track for today. The key difference is, again, it's going to be considerably warmer and breezier out there. Already pushing into the low to mid 80s by the noon hour. And as we head into the afternoon, those temperatures really heating up. And similar to Tuesday, by late afternoon, early evening, the winds will begin to subside a bit out there. But between here and there, they're going to be gusting upwards of 25, 30 miles an hour out of the southwest. Temperatures right now, 64 in Joplin, 58 in Pittsburgh. All of us out there about 20 degrees warmer now than where we were yesterday morning. So we've had that 40-degree temperature swing in the last 48 hours. So I'm sure people at home probably not feeling too well in some cases. Really starts to mess with you when they're bouncing around. But we've got mid-upper 50s and then low to mid 60s for the most part out there. Kids getting on the bus this morning. Upper 50s, sunny, south winds around 5 to 10 when the bus brings them home. Still sunny, breezy, southwest winds gusting out there, 89. And we're looking at highs today, upper 80s, low 90s. So that puts us about 10 to 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. The above normal temperatures will continue for a while, as will the dry conditions. We'll look at all those details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. Well, human resource departments and companies gathered in Parsons for the Family Friendly Workplaces Summit. The summit aimed to promote the support of families in the workplace through accommodations like paternity and maternity leave. Now, they say family-forward businesses have higher retention rates.
Also benefit from additional successful recruitment when it comes to employees. It's also about making sure that we have, we're supporting the development, the early development of our children and our future workforce.
Savage believes family-forward workplaces lead to a stronger Kansas economy. Well, in the wake of Hurricane Helene, a lot of people are looking at their immediate medical services. Yesterday, Freeman Health System addressed that issue with a demonstration of a modular hospital. The on-the-spot hospital sets up in just 90 minutes and provides a triage center that can handle up to 6 patients.
So this is just a good chance for us to practice ourselves. We've invited all the community to be involved. Local fire departments, emergency managers, the other hospitals in the area. And our assets are their assets. You know, when we're in healthcare, every single provider, we're healthcare providers, and we're there together during disasters.
The modular hospital also can provide mass communication, satellite, 5G cellular backup systems, radios, and emergency lighting. Well, Carthage is celebrating homecoming this week, and students at Pleasant Valley Elementary are taking part in the festivities with a Western theme. Now, yesterday, students dressed up in some country flair and enjoyed a visit from some barnyard animals. The kiddos enjoyed hands-on interaction with various animals such as ducks, chickens, bunnies, and some goats.
Actually get to sit on the pony and have their picture took, and they'll get to get in here with the chicks and the ducks and the rabbits, and they'll get to feed them, pet them, hold them.
The school hopes this fun educational experience will leave a lasting impression on the young minds. Well, the city of Carthage also held its Paint the Town Blue celebration yesterday. Food trucks and vendors were all set up at the high school parking lot by 5:30. Yesterday's highlight came in the form of the homecoming parade, which kicked off at 6:15 and traveled from the 6th grade center to the high school football stadium.
My favorite part about being here tonight is probably going on the flow and just like getting to see everybody that like came here to like support the teams and stuff.
My favorite part about tonight was being able to be the only Carthage Junior High float in the whole homecoming parade.
The Carthage football team will play Joplin at home tomorrow. And as a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Women's roles in a Catholic Church tops the agenda as Pope Francis opens the reform meeting. Plus, for the first time, Hezbollah fighters directly engage with Israeli forces. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, a few lucky people gathered to observe a solar eclipse on Chile's Easter Island Wednesday. Visitors witnessing the ring of fire that's created by the annular eclipse. Now, one student from China was in awe of the opportunity. The eclipse is visible over Easter Island and the tips of Chile and Argentina, happening mostly over the South Pacific. But Britain's Princess Beatrice announces she's expecting another child. The oldest daughter of King Charles's younger brother, Prince Andrew, Beatrice already has one other child with her husband, Eduardo Mapelli Mosey, and a stepson from Mosey's previous relationship. Now the two are expecting another in the spring. Beatrice is 9th in line to the throne in Buckingham Palace, responding to the news that, quote, His Majesty the King has been informed and both families are delighted with the news. Pope Francis trying to make the Catholic Church more inclusive, humble, and welcoming by giving ordinary Catholics a greater say in decision-making rather than the all-male priestly hierarchy. Many are calling for women to take on more positions of responsibility in the church. The bishops and lay people will meet behind closed doors for the next 3 weeks to discuss the future of the church and how to make it more responsive to the needs of Catholics today. Several of the most contentious issues, like ministering to LGBTQ+ Catholics and allowing women to serve as deacons, are officially off the table after they encountered resistance and objections during the first session of last year. Now, 10 study groups will give Francis a final set of proposals to consider on October 26th. Well, President Biden says that Iran has gone way off board, but Israel's response to yesterday's missile attack should be proportionate. It comes amid speculation that Israel could target Iranian infrastructure like nuclear sites and oil rigs. Israeli officials say the response will be painful with the anniversary of the October 7th attacks less than 1 week away. Mike Tobin is in Haifa, Israel with the latest.
For the first time in this conflict, Hezbollah fighters directly engaged Israeli forces. An ambush involving anti-tank missiles in South Lebanon killed 8 Israeli soldiers.
I would like to send my deepest condolences to the families of our heroes who fell today in Lebanon. May God avenge their death.
This just one day after the unprecedented missile barrage Iran fired into Israel. Israeli air defenses intercepted many. Guided missile destroyers USS Cole and USS Bulkley fired 12 interceptors at the incoming barrage. Some Iranian missiles got through, hit civilian structures as well as air bases. Israel says its Air Force's capability is unaffected. At today's emergency UN Security Council meeting with the Israeli ambassador watching, Iran's ambassador defended the attack.
Iran's response was a necessity to restore balance and deterrence. Israel must understand that each act of aggression it makes is not unpunished and will be met with consequences.
Weighing retaliation to the second direct attack from Iran, the chiefs of Israel's defense establishment met in the Kiryat, Israel's version of the Pentagon.
We have the capabilities to reach and strike any point in the Middle East, and those of our enemies who have not yet understood this will soon understand.
Still cautious about escalation, U.S. President Joe Biden said he would not support an Israeli strike on Iranian nuclear facilities. Instead, he promised sanctions and called for a meeting of G7 leaders.
All 7 of us agree that they have a right to respond, but they should respond in proportion.
With the fight still on multiple fronts, Hamas has now claimed responsibility for those 2 Palestinian attackers who opened fire on civilians in Jaffa near Tel Aviv. They killed 7 before the gunmen were also killed.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:44 now on this Thursday morning. We're going to start, of course, with the future track. Not a lot to show over the next couple of days, but the warm temperatures, that's about it. It's going to be breezy today as well. You can see we're already into the mid-80s by noon, and it'll be hot out there. We're looking at temperatures anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees above normal across the region. And, of course, the warmer we get during the day, the warmer it'll be in the evening, so therefore another above-average night. Ahead of yet another above-average day as we go through Friday. Not expected to be nearly as breezy tomorrow as it will be today, but still expected to be just as hot. And it will continue all the way into Saturday. Another mild night, mild start to the day. We have those southerly breezes out there, and temperatures a little slower to warm, but they will still have the same impact as we're another 10 to 15 degrees above normal for Saturday afternoon. Let's take a look at temperatures. We're sitting at 64 in Joplin, and still want to point out dew point humidity both still very low, so it's still very dry out there. So again, we strongly urge no outdoor burning. You want to protect yourself, your neighbors, and again, no discarding anything that's flammable out your car window. It's not a good idea to discard anything out your window anyway, but even more so if it's something that could start a fire. All right, temperatures, we've got a wide range out there. We've got some low 50s down in parts of Oklahoma and parts of southwest Missouri. Then we get into the mid-upper 50s, and then the low to mid 60s out there for some of us as well. And like yesterday, now we're the polar opposite. We are upwards of 20 degrees warmer this morning than when we were 24 hours ago. So we mentioned it was going to be the exact opposite to today. And that is exactly what we are seeing. All right, so through the morning, again, a little bit of a cool start. Not bad, above normal by about 10 degrees, but still not bad, I suppose. Breezy, the winds will start kicking in pretty early this morning. Sunny skies, and with those southwesterly winds gusting upwards of 25, 30 miles an hour, it warms up quickly. We're pushing about 80 degrees by 11 o'clock. I already mentioned be about the mid-80s, come close to the noon hour out there. Highs today, upper 80s, low 90s, sunny skies, and as mentioned, quite breezy across the area as well. Now, as we head into the evening, the winds will begin to die down, similar to how they were on Tuesday. By late afternoon, early evening, the winds will calm down. Still clear skies, low 70s by 10 o'clock ahead of overnight lows, low 60s, and maybe some upper 50s out there as well. And then we get to the extended forecast, and I feel really bad showing it to you folks because, well, like I said before, warm weather is nice, sunny skies are nice. We need some rain across the area, and that's just not on the horizon. Upper 80s, low 90s again tomorrow and Saturday. a wee bit cooler on Sunday. We're talking mid to upper 80s, so still 10, 12 degrees above normal. Now Monday, we get relatively close to average. It should be about the mid 70s. We're only 2 or 3 degrees above normal on our Monday, maybe a couple of clouds out there as well. And then as we head into the second half of the week, we are still looking at temperatures warming back up again, going back into the upper 80s and low 90s as the cycle of dry weather continues across the area. So unfortunately, still no rain on the horizon now. Looking at some long-range data, maybe in the second half of this month, we have at least some rain chances out there, but boy, we need them a lot sooner than that. That is a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Olivia Rodrigo's latest tour heads to streaming, and John Boyega is set to play a music legend. Rick Damagella has more in the Hollywood Minute.
Fans can now get Olivia Rodrigo back on streaming. The singer's Guts World Tour will be released as a concert special on Netflix. Taped in Los Angeles and featuring songs from Rodrigo's second album, the event will be available beginning October 29th.
I'm one of the biggest pop stars in the world, but I've always seen myself a little less evolved.
Robbie Williams' new look. The British singer gets a CGI monkey as a stand-in for the upcoming musical biopic Better Man. This is your first look at the film, which will see the musician replaced by the primate in every scene. John Boyega's musical new role. The Star Wars actor is set to portray late soul legend Otis Redding in the forthcoming biopic Otis and Zelma. The film is set to document the decade-long love story Redding shared with his wife Zelma. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Well, a terrifying ordeal on a country road. A teen driver becomes stuck in an out-of-control SUV that keeps going faster and faster. Jeremy Roth shows us how quick-thinking authorities brought it to a stop in today's Take a Look at This.
Watch authorities perform a daring high-speed maneuver to stop a teenager stuck in an out-of-control SUV going over 100 miles per hour. 18-year-old Sam Dutcher was driving near Fargo when he says his SUV just took off on its own.
Hey, this thing is accelerating. My foot is not on the gas.
As the vehicle continued to speed up, Sam called 911, who put him on the phone with Minnesota State Troopers in hot pursuit.
If you hit the brakes, nothing happens. The accelerator's stuck down.
The troopers caught up with Sam just as the out-of-control SUV rocketed through this small town at a terrifying 113 miles per hour.
My mind started to go, I'm going to die tonight.
With little time and road remaining, the troopers sped up and outran the SUV, activating its anti-collision sensors, forcing it to slow down, then telling Sam,
yes, run into the back of his car.
To hit the patrol car to stop for good.
Hold them.
Amazingly, the maneuver worked, and after 20 terrifying minutes, Sam was safe. Later on, an emotional reunion between the heroic troopers, a grateful mother, and a young driver, safe and sound. God. Another collision with a cop, and I don't think this one was the car's fault, caught on camera in Fairfax County, Virginia, where a driver sideswiped a parked police cruiser because they say she was operating the vehicle while intoxicated. It's a good reminder that if your vehicle is expected to be functioning properly, you, the driver, should be as well. Stay sober, stay smart, stay safe. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, McDonald's Happy Meals are getting a Halloween-style makeover. The fast food chain announced the return of its Boo Buckets, which will include a Happy Meal and can be used as a trick-or-treat basket. Now, the Boo Buckets come in 4 designs, and the company encourages fans to customize them further with Halloween stickers. The Spooky Happy Meal was returned October 15th and will be available for a limited time while supplies last. Well, if you ever have tech issues, and we all do from time to time, now is the time to celebrate those who help you solve those problems. That's because Thursday is National Techies Day, observed every year on October 3rd. An important part of this particular observation is encouraging students to think about pursuing careers in technology. Opportunities abound in the tech field, and there's no end in sight to the expansion of those opportunities. It's worth noting that National Techies Day falls in National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Cybersecurity is another reason to appreciate techies and all they do to help protect our data, computers, smartphones, and software.
That's incredible how technology is so needed, even as something as simple as this, or even what we do here, all this tech that's needed. And it takes a good team of people to keep it up and running. So make sure you thank them out there. All right, here's what we're looking at through the morning. A cool start, still above normal though. Sunshine, gusty southwest winds. That'll warm us up pretty quickly to about 80 by 11 o'clock, heading into the mid 80s by noon. Highs today, upper 80s and low 90s. So about 10, 15 degrees above normal, and those southwest winds gusting upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour in some cases. Heading into the evening hours, the winds will begin to calm down. We'll have clear skies, low 70s by 10. Overnight lows, upper 50s, low 60s. And the heat continues, staying 10, 15 degrees above normal Friday, Saturday. A little cooler Sunday and Monday. In fact, a lot closer to average Monday. And then we'll heat back up in the second half of next week. Temperatures going back into the upper 80s and low 90s. And unfortunately, no rain on the horizon there. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.